board. The meeting is live and being screened, as you can see. It will be recorded and be held for public minute. Anyone can look at those minutes and the video afterwards. So today, and thank you to the public forum attendees. It's great to see some people of interest in what's going on. So the first item of agenda is apologies, and I have an apology from Curtis Panner and from Hayden Smith. That's the lot. Do we have to declare, sustain, or accept those apologies? Yeah, I'll move that we accept those apologies. Thank you, Becky. So there's 3 of us here today. The other 2 guys are away at this point. Obviously, we're assisted by other members of the council. So the next item on the agenda is the public forum, where members of the public can speak for 5 minutes on an item, and then the community board members will have an opportunity to potentially ask questions of each person or not, and then we'll move forwards. Generally, if you're speaking on an item, it may be because it's an agenda item later in the meeting, and so obviously after you've spoken, you're most welcome to stay for that agenda item. So on with the public forum then, and the first speaker we have is Eve O'Brien. Welcome, Eve. Come and have a seat here. So smile, laugh, and make us laugh. Make your point.
I didn't bring the other jokes today. So kia ora, my name's Eve O'Brien, and I'm the coordinator for the Central Otago Friendship Network. I'm speaking on behalf of our organisation for the community board grant application today. The Central Otago Friendship Network is a charitable trust, and our mission is to enrich people's lives by establishing and supporting friendship networks and social connection opportunities with the focus on those who are experiencing isolation or loneliness. DOFN is overseen by a volunteer board with 2 staff. Myself, I work full-time, and our friendship assistant, who works 7.5 hours a week, along with an ever-evolving group of wonderful volunteers who help us to provide friendship and social opportunities to those who need it in our communities. Currently, we have 27 active volunteers, including 2 as well, who are based across Central Otago. Our 3 core services include facilitating social activities, individual friendship support, and a one-to-one friendship service. We also work with existing social networks just to help people access those opportunities and remove barriers to people that might be isolated. Current facilitated social activity in the Teviot Valley is a friendship club that we run at the Roxby Area School for Year 1 to 6 students. It's a fortnightly lunchtime crafting and hangout space that we run in partnership with the school year. This connection space can help children develop their social skills and find friendship and fun, particularly for those who might be new to the area or new to school. This initiative has been running for over 5 years, and we usually have 15 to 20 students attending each session. So that's like a little bit of background of what we're already doing in the area. And since March this year, we have been trialling a new project, so free monthly drop-in space, actually that meets here in this room, that's the library. The aim is to provide an accessible social opportunity for those who might need a little extra company or a reason to get out of the house. We have staff members such as myself, assistant, acting as a host who welcomes attendees and helps just introductions and facilitating people a little bit nervous or not sure about who to talk to, and we just help smooth that out. And our staff member also provides transport in our van as an accessible step for people that might not be able to get here on their own steam. We just have a simple hot drink and a Vicky and a chance to chat. It's not based around specific interests, so we keep it as wide as possible. We just sort of facilitate the conversation around what might be of interest to people that are dropping in. We have had some good feedback from people who have joined from the community so far, that it's been something that's been valuable and contributed to their day and their week, help them get out of the house and encourage them just to see something in their week. We hope that by creating a low-key and welcoming space for people, particularly for people who might not feel confident during joining a big group, or who might have social anxiety or other barriers that make it harder for them to just kind of join in with larger group activities, that it might be something that people can just pop into, drop in for a short time for as long as they feel comfortable. So that's why we have this drop-in space. We've run 4 public sessions so far, and we've had 11 different attendees, including long-time locals, short-term visitors to the area, and several people who are newly moved to the region. having a mix of locals and newcomers is something we're aiming for, because we want it to be a space where people, particularly people that are new to the area, can start to feel connected, meet their neighbours, and find out about what's going on in the community. And we've already seen that happening with a couple that's new to the area have come along, seeing them chatting, finding out what's happening in the community, and then getting involved in kind of more things from that. We also, as I say, provide transport, so recognise that not everybody is able to drive, and that the area has a higher population of people aged 65, so that's one of the intentional regions we've been, looking at projects to support people who may not always be able to drive, and will be in the period where they're looking at transport options. So that's why we have that as part of what we do. We are seeking funding of $1,596 in funding to provide staff support for this project, to be able to take it from the pilot stage and at the moment to something that's a regular event on our calendar. We are looking for funding to just help take it to the next stage. Any questions?
Questions, guys?
So this is a mixture of like your youth drop-in.
So it's aimed at adults.
It's aimed
It
at
is
adults.
aimed at adults. Yeah.
Okay. So you would.
Although it's open to people of any age, but it is from 2 to 3 p.m. So it wouldn't necessarily suit. So it's aimed at adults, particularly those, people who might just need a little bit of extra social connection, or someone to see who can see them.
Staff in the city or using lots for base ones?
Not at the moment, no. So our staff are mainly based in Sandra, because we do go out to and Oaktown, but we would look at having volunteer helpers in the future. That's how our Roxburgh school group works, is that we have a staff member who does the organisation and just the marketing and getting all the resources and things, but then we have volunteer helpers that help.
Yeah, because I was thinking if you've got new people to the area, but to Roxburgh, but have got somebody from Roxburgh.
Well, as I say, we do have connections in the area, but it's just a matter of being a small charitable trust. We can't necessarily employ people across the area, but we try and make connections in the area and connect people into that. And as I say, this group, I would look at being volunteer, having some volunteer hosts in that in the future. But at the start, as we start out, we just having some a staff member who can just be proactive with getting things rolling.
Can you tap in with some of the volunteers that work in the, the best time for you?
Yeah, so we are definitely getting connected with people. So we have 2 regular volunteers who help out with our friendship club at the Roxburgh School, and so we'd like to see that sort of aspect of things as well.
But the grant that you're asking for goes to the adults.
So it's the grant we're asking for is provide 3.5 hours of staff funding, of staff time, just to do that. Organise the advertising, get the space organised, make sure that we have transport available, and as well as spend time hosting it. And that would include also looking for volunteers and people to get involved.
And you had good feedback from the people.
Definitely, we've had people that have been. We've had people that have been coming along. We have had people that have just dropped in, check it out, and that's always normally doing something new. But we have had people that have made a regular effort to come, even if they can't come every month, that they'll try and they've said that it's been something that's been useful for them. The fact people are coming back again tells us that it's something that we see as valuable, and that's why we've run 4 pilot periods before we've asked for any funding. It's sort of make it a regular thing.
Thank you, Eve. We'll be discussing it later, and I'm very pleased with what you're doing here. There's one thing that I would like just to say, and I saw this stat the other day, and I'm astounded. I don't think it can be true, but it was quoted by Statistics New Zealand or Infometrics, and they're talking about people that live here now, or in the most recent census, but it's a moving census now, and who didn't live here 5 years ago.
That's on the plan.
Yeah. Would anyone hazard a guess at what that number is? Percentage of people that live here now that didn't live here 5 years ago? 42%. 42% of the people that live here now in this valley didn't live here 5 years previously. That's an amazing number. I would, myself too, pretty much. I mean, I would have said 10%, but it's an amazing number. Yeah. Thanks, Phil. Okay, next we'll have, Pat and Tom regarding the, Roxburgh Community Garden. Green fingers, look at them, here they come. Righto, give us your 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you for inviting us, for allowing us to speak. My name is Patty Hedigan. This is Tom Walsh, and we also have Sheila Martin behind here. It's Tom Walsh as well. I think you've already received some information regarding.
Yeah, we had your full proposal, and we're very impressed with it, yeah.
Okay, that's good. Maybe I can add one or two extra little pieces to that. One would be, you probably know the history goes back about 16 years. It's a community garden. Before that, there's a hospital garden, and the membership is around about 11 to 13 people. Who regularly come along and help us, and as well as that, we have some of the community service people who have sent through the elections, and as well during the season of the fruit season, we also have some of those seasonal workers, in particular some of the Fijian boys come along and give us a hand. So, yeah, so we have that. And just to mention perhaps some of the vegetables that we do grow, which we say spray free, include runner beans, broad beans, cabbages, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, silver beet, spinach, cucumber, carrots, parsley, potatoes, pumpkin, squash, zucchini, onions, garlic, beetroot, peppers, capsicum, sweet corn, kohlrabi, and carrots, swedes, turnips, leeks, kale, rhubarb, lettuce, larder, various berries and various berries and varieties of herbs. So what's kind of this together? If you can exist it, and maybe one or two others that I can think of. Yeah, so we're here to ask you to support our little project of a tunnel house. I brought along my visual aid, which I thought might help. So we can start off here if you like by doing a little bit of boasting. We went through classes and show this year. I think we're about 13 in total.
So where's the tunnel house going to go? Where's the tunnel house going to go? There.
Sorry?
Where would the tunnel house go on there?
Oh, yes, I'm going to point that out.
No.
So we have an aerial photo here of the garden. So as you come in from, so on your left, of course, there's the garden. On your right, there's a garden. So there's about 4 plots. This is number 3 that we hope to cover with the tunnel house.
Right.
And we'll cover most of it. Here we have an example of our tunnel house.
Yeah.
So the one we're getting would be twice the size of that to cover them.
Right.
So it's roughly sort of 5.5 by 6 meters by about 5.5.
Right. No, 6 feet.
Yeah. And so it's going to give us an opportunity to provide more vegetables and things during the winter season that we can't grow in the middle of winter.
Right.
So at the moment, we're very scarce on what we can provide to the public, but hopefully we've already received some funding. We're probably looking in total with the extra bits and pieces that we're going to need at about 6,000 at the most. But at the moment, we've received 1,500 from the Lions Club, Roxburgh Lions. We've received 1,000 from the Otago Community Trust, and we also from one of their
people.
real estate agents, we was doing 250.
Nice.
So, yeah, we're still a bit short. We probably will contribute about 1,000 from our own funding towards it.
Mhm.
So, yeah, still a little bit short. So anything you give us is going to.
Right. Thanks very much, Pat. That's very,
Have I taken?
yeah, no, that's a great summary.
Want to add something?
The biggest problem we had was have the quail come off the hill and the rabbits. So this way we can put some produce inside.
Yeah.
We've only community garden south of Grand Ferry that has a winter garden.
Oh, okay.
Everyone else closes during the winter. So this way we can fill it up late autumn and have some of our
Great.
plants that are a bit vulnerable to the birds and the rabbits. And our biggest cost is our seed potatoes a year and our water. Our water is quite a big cost to us. Yeah.
Are you connected to the Roxburgh Town Water, are you?
Yes, yep. Yeah, that comes off the medical trust and it's monitored, got a monitor on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we know how much we're using.
Great.
How much do you use in the year?
About about $400 worth roughly. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, was it water?
Yeah, and we do, we supply the aged care with vegetables today. And as well as the church groups, if anyone's that got families that are having problems.
So
That's for nothing.
so you support the rest home for free?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just what they want.
One of the cooks there and I got
Oh, right.
quite big spinach and older people, they love the authentic old vegetables, which they supply. With a different use more of their garden was there. For the winter, they have fresh taste of old type vegetables.
I think it's like supporting this time. I think that's a really fabulous thing to do.
They don't have a big turnover money wise because it's only $1 or $2 a night income. So it's
But then moving towards that sort of a co-hire system where they come in rather than charge them for it's not a market. We're not out there to make a profit, so yeah, so what people can offer us, we accept.
Right, thank you very much. Vicky, you got questions?
Right.
We do have a little presentation.
some of the birds we grow.
Some of the herbs, but so that you know that we actually do grow things. Bay leaf, rosemary, and 2 lots of sage. So that's your purple sage, and it goes purple in the spring, and that's your variegated. So it's just, they're almost past. I'm sorry, but we thought, well, if you have them here, you can see and you grow them. So if anyone needs bay leaves, we're quite sufficient in bay leaves.
Oh,
It's not.
You can tell them how you grow some basil.
Sorry.
wow.
Yes, because the basil got frosted this year and we didn't cover it soon enough, you know, the frost came upon people. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll be talking about these grants very shortly. Yeah. Okay, the next person in the up at Long's Graham Road. Grant, how? Good, good. You want to talk about local government reform?
Yeah, well, I like to talk a word about it, yeah, but the person that I wanted to talk about is not here. So mainly, that's when I came along to the forum that he held here a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Most people come away from there and we've come to the conclusion, you don't even know what you're doing. You have no idea what they're doing. And so there was a plenty, you were here, Mark, and Jill was here, and they both put a recommendation forward that timeline go out a bit more. And our councillor, obviously, they didn't take any consideration of what the locals want. There's no idea of that thing. So it's just gone through. And this here was just made up by the government when I read it. And it's a load of rubbish. Absolute rubbish made up by professional people who are paid to put all this together. They have no idea about the local communities at all. So I'm sort of running out of steam about that.
Okay, well, I hear you, and I think that I can't speak for Curtis and for other councillors or mayor, but however, I know that they too are frustrated with the whole event and process. And but it has been forced upon them.
This whole thing is disaster.
Yeah,
So that's a general opinion of almost everyone you talk to. And we're being run by an ex-policeman who has no corporate experience at all.
I don't think that's.
Absolutely none of the well we are.
I don't think that's.
You're aware.
You haven't been 30 years in corporate, you don't have a track record of running companies.
Yeah, I don't think we're here to for that sort of a conversation.
Well,
To denigrate individuals. We're not here to denigrate individuals. I understand and I accept your concerns about the what we've been forced into, not the community board, but what the council has been forced into. And I don't think there's anybody around this table that likes the fact that we've been forced into it or would have asked to have been forced into it. It's not what anyone wanted. However, our masters in Wellington hold those cards.
But they're not your masters.
Well, they are the government.
There's a perception that's gone all wrong. They should be trying to convince the ratepayer and the voter that they are correct. And then the voter and the ratepayer and the taxpayer will come back to our councillors and go to council and say, we like this, we think this. But it's come down through councils and people that we have no idea who they are. There's 60 odd thousand of them have worked for the government. They are not our controllers.
It's a moot point. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not quite aggressive about it.
I know. I'm glad you are, because this is the forum for explaining how you feel, and
No,
please
right.
continue to do so.
I'd like Curtis to come back to me and explain why he doesn't listen to the ratepayer. He is there, put there by the ratepayer exclusively for our interests and the vote.
He is, and he has to balance the desires, needs, concerns of all Teviot Valley voters, and also he's not only a community board member, he's been voted in on the Central Otago Council, and as such he needs to look at that broad picture as well, like it or not.
No, he doesn't. Like we had one person.
I don't like it.
One person voted against it.
Yeah.
But I think what happens is, for these people who vote against it, and general voters will slowly be left on the outside. They're not quite involved with everything, they're not told everything that and they slowly become an outsider. And we all like to belong to something that's been built. We love to belong to opening buildings and making something that's really productive for society. We all want to do it. But the reality of it, you can't police all the people all the time. And we don't vote someone in for our council to police other people that we don't even know who they are. Okay. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thanks, Graham. Good debate. All right. We'll move on to the next item, the next speaker, which is Norm Daly. Norm's come to talk about the
Thanks for that.
Morning all. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here just to speak in support of the detention and not demolition of the Millers Back Pavilion. My concern is the paper that you've been presented with to consider about the future of the flat pavilion is very narrow focus. It doesn't present all the options or present that all the options are being considered. And I sort of was sitting there thinking last night, how do I sort of present my thoughts? And I come up with option 3. And I'm wondering whether we're able to put the map that you or the photo that you've got of the site on the agenda up on the screen, so you can sort of talk to a reflect. Simple, really. The key issue that is presented in your paper is that you've got a building that's sitting on Paper Road and Steamboat Wharf. It's been like that for the last, I don't know. I'm a 58 level and been there longer than
1 to 3 years.
And I'm just wondering, you know, is it the paper road that's the issue or is it the building? In my mind, it's the paper road. The paper road that's never been used, should never be put there in the first place.
We'll see if we can get it up on the screen for you, Norm.
Yeah, and my thinking that there is an option that you get rid of the paper road on the building. And to do that, I know in the paper that you've been presented, it says that you can't get rid of the paper road because those lots 140 and 141 at the back there will be landlocked. But they won't do if you put an easement down the northern boundary of the reserve. Put a right of way access down the northern boundary of that reserve and
You mean the northern boundary of the reserve?
the northern boundary.
The northern is this one here?
Yeah, no, I've read it right along purple and blue.
Down here?
Down along there. That's the northern boundary.
Okay.
To the point where you can get right way access into the back two lots.
So those people that don't know what we're talking about, that's private land, and this is private land. And the problem is that this is where the building sits, and that's a road. That's designated as a road.
The issue lies with lots 140 and 141 primarily. Getting rid of that paper road. Once you've got an easement in place, you may meet everyone's requirements. They're far cheaper exercise than, with my experience with easements, far cheaper exercise than knocking that building over.
Thank you,
Well,
Norm.
they're 100,000 to.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was $120,000 put aside the board supported the divestment of the pavilion last year. But why spend it when you don't need to? You can spend half that in the lease place and bring the community back alongside. So I think that can got the Middle State community have demonstrated their, like you said, their appetite and their energy by rebuilding that reserve into a place that people come and use. I mean, I've taken my kids down, my grandkids down there. You know, it's a great spot. So why stop in the attract when there's a very readily accessible and achievable solution? Understanding up on the building on the paper road, but there is another solution to knocking that building out.
Thanks, Norm. Any questions, guys?
I've got more of the council than I do for Norman, but concerning like it's a paper road, but the council's not the owner. Which I don't quite understand. Council is the road controlling authority in respect to the road, but it's not the owner. And I don't quite know how to work.
We'll discuss that during the meeting. Huh?
Yeah.
Thank you. There's no more questions. Well, that's great, Norm.
Thanks, Norm.
Thank you very much for coming along. Next speaker is Mark Quinn, who's speak on the same issue.
Okay, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. Actually, at my meeting talk, but I want to say the paper road is the issue. The overall picture for me is community welfare, because all I see in the Teviot Valley is neglect, and I see a decaying livelihood here. We look at rugby, it's gone. We look at bowling green, it's gone. We've got another one on the X, and I think it's high time that we turn this around. For me, we have Andrew Hawksett, for those that don't know him, he's the guy that's coming with the gold. He's also only working north of Roxburgh. This guy has bought the cafe down there, and we're looking at closing it down. And I don't see the logic in that. Here's a chance to grow the community. Here's a chance for the community to expand. And if people are looking to come here and we're knocking all the sports pavilions off, why would they come here? So for me, this is a no-go. The option one is out. Me, I actually wrote down option 3, which was to change the paper road over to a block of land that the community can own. They're looking for $69,000 into rebuilding that. I say we do that. I say that we have a look at our community spirit. Where are we going with it? What are we doing with it? And if these people are coming here bringing gold into the area, we need to get on board and work alongside them rather than against them, because right now we're working against them in that we're going to close down what they're actually trying to promote in the area, community spirit. They bought the cafe, which you and I and everyone else wouldn't run at a profit because it's a 6-month situation. So they're pouring money in here and we're taking money out. So for me, we have to change the way we're thinking about this. I think option 3 that Norm's talking about is the idea that if we can spend $159,000 pulling it down, we can spend $159,000 buying it and then changing it. We can rezone that. So there's no reason why we can't buy it off Transit New Zealand at $159,000 because it's probably not worth that. So for me, it's a time to turn around and have a look at community welfare. And that's a biggie for me because we want growth in this area. We have to bring families in. What have the families got? Well, there's no rugby team that go to Lawrence. There's no bowls. We'll close that down. Now we've got another bowling green. We're closing it down. How long have we closed the swimming pools down? Because there's not much left. And we're not really here for the Teviot Valley. You see it time and time again. We pour millions of dollars each year in rates. What are we getting back? How are we getting value for money? How are we actually promoting the area? How are we promoting it well enough to actually bring people in? So these are my concerns with starting with the bowling green. I'm concerned that that's decaying our community spirit, decaying the area, and business is only going to go backwards as a result. But we need more people to pay rates, so we're contradictory to ourselves.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Mark. Next speaker we have is Jill Gatton. Jill's a local Miller's Flat.
I didn't bring any bribes like last time.
Yeah, let's start with it.
Okay, so I'm not going to talk about finances or logistics of it. I'm going to talk about myself as a volunteer, and I'm going to talk about Miller's Flat if they were going for an interview for a job. So just my volunteer experience as a Miller's Flat person, just so you can get a quick background. Doesn't matter what job I did, how much money I made, nothing, but I was the chairperson of the Rochester School Board of Trustees for a few years. I was the founder of I was the founding president of Educare over 25 years ago. I initiated and created the Appleton flower displays in the town. I ran that by myself for about 6 years. I was the last president of Plunkett Miller's Flat before Plunkett took it, sold the land, and took the money.
Yeah.
Won't go into that. The school, you know, everyone catering, rostering, etc. Both schools, one was down in Roxburgh. But if I was Miller's Flat, I'll tell you something different. Here's 10 of my achievements, and I might miss some out. The rodeo ground. Bring 1,000 people to Miller's Flat. It's an amazing event. I love it. All the guys, the horses, the stock, logistics, just that alone, amazing. Fire Brigade, 1967. They're bigger than they've ever been. All these locals are attending crashes, horrible things, and they're all locals stepping up every day. The Miller's Flat Hall, it never looks so good. Disclaimer, my daughter's the current president of the hall. Beautiful. And 4 is swimming pool. What little town has a swimming pool like that? Nobody. The coordinating the keys, the rosters, the toilets, the cleanest toilets ever. Like, always perfect. The Miller's Flat water scheme. Like, who has that? It's amazing. Guys, the people involved in that, credit. We were like rainwater and buckets from the creek. Like, now we've got a water scheme. Fagans, you know, we've gone ever about Fagans, but we have Fagans. They're still alive. The school, everybody helps with the school, everybody. Bakehouse, I mean, they're all massive projects. The bakehouse is a shining star. I volunteer at the bake. I've done it for 30 years to get where it is now, and it's beautiful. We've got international tourists, big farm, 80 of them, what, next month or the month after? They're all contributing money just to walk in and say, hi, here's our contribution. And number 9, the domain. Well, I went away for a few years and come back and wow, I was super impressed. So what's number 10? Number 10 is the pavilion. That's our next project. And what does the council need to do? All they need to do, well, they've got to do it anyway, is to wait for the stoppage of the paper road. That's for them to work out. Hand the pavilion over to North Flat, council leaves the land. North Flat will take care of the rest. We punch well above our weight. Cannot dispute this. This is not our first rodeo. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. So very, very good, reference point. Any questions for Jill?
No, but I'd just like to say that while Joel was in charge of the flower bins, they looked amazing and were incredibly well looked after until the flower bins were turned over to ownership and now they just died. So while Joel was in charge of them, they were fabulous.
Thank you very much, Jill. Okay, that concludes our public forum. And again, thank you very much to all those who have contributed. We're going to move on now to the item 7, which is confirmation of minutes. And unfortunately, we can't approve those today because we don't have the appropriate number of people here. We'll approve them at the next meeting. There have been discussions about them. There's no suggestion that there's anything wrong with them, but we'll attend to that administrative task at the next meeting. Next item is declarations of interest. So there's a declaration of interest register that we've all signed, which alludes to our interests outside of this community. I remind my members to make sure it's up to date. Item number page 15. Next item is the community grants applications. And this is the we've got Rebecca Williams here, who is a community community lead. Rebecca, she wants to talk about the community grants applications, and then yeah, we'll roll into the next item after that, which is the community plan. Well, thanks for coming down, Rebecca.
No problem. Thanks for having me. So this report is for the board to consider its applications for the 26-27 community grants round. And it's just been a pleasure to sit this morning and hear the 2 presentations about grants as part of the public forum and hearing the amazing things that are happening on the valley. So 2 applications were received during the period, requesting a total of $2,596. The board has 7,605 left in its reserves to distribute. And I'll just speak about the 2 applications. One was received from the Roxburgh Community Garden for $1,000 towards the cost of the new tunnel house. I'm recommending that is paid. That's we've heard what they're doing to their local community, for the local community, and that's fantastic. And then the second one was from the Central Otago Friendship Network for costs associated with setting up and keeping a Roxburgh social space. Whilst it's certainly limited numbers at this stage, the network do provide a vital service in providing connection for those probably most vulnerable in our community. I think the board grant it as a look and see how those numbers support the pilot. See in a year if those numbers are similar or not, and whether going forward it's something that you continue to support. But for this that you fund the grant. Oh, if that answers your questions.
Members?
Your questions?
No, which is a shame because I was sitting there listening to the garden one and thought, oh, they should have asked for more. But no, we can't give more than the basketball, sorry.
Okay. Well, I was not with the Friendship Network, and I'd really like to see them try and target more to some of our newer members in town, given that there's an astounding number of them. But there are hundreds and hundreds of new visitors, it appears, and yeah, it'd be great to have a quarterly new visitors welcome afternoon or something like that. What we might call it, but if there's 42% out of 1,800, that's about 700 new people.
That's so, we'll pass that on to our welcoming
In
community.
2 years, yeah. 700 people in 2 years is 10 a week. Is a lot. It's one day over 2 years. It's over 2.
One of those people just recent, and this library is my go-to place. They have been so welcoming with welcoming packets through Central Otago District Council. I understand they've been amazing. It would be really nice to have a welcoming
Yeah, a welcome. Yeah,
afternoon.
a welcome afternoon for new people.
You'll find that in like Ettrick, once, but sometimes twice a year has a theatrical. You know, we have that, you know, people who join to that area of the valley. And
Something we can help. I know that there was a. Yeah, maybe we can talk about it.
They have a lot of communities. Maybe, Paul, I'm not sure at some stage here that could come down.
Yes, it has been definitely trying to get something up and running, so I'm just waiting a note now. To figure that out.
We have chatted, I'm in contact with him, and we've done a couple of coffee chats with a few people around here around that topic, so.
Okay, if there's no more questions from the board members, the proposal is that we accept and approve those 2 applications. Oh, sorry, there it is. Receive the report, approve A and approve C, A, B, and C. Could I have a proposal? Becky, thank you. Seconder?
Yeah.
Jill, all right. And all those in favour? Aye. Approved. Thank you very much. Great work, Rebecca.
Thank you.
And great work from those that put the applications in. Look forward to you getting money. So we move on to the next item on the agenda now, which is the Teviot Valley Community Plan. It's there. She's the lady that's been driving.
Yeah. I've written some notes on this too. So it's with pleasure that I formally present the Teviot Valley Community Plan to the board. It has been so far, I've presented it to the Roxburgh Business Group, the Middle Flat Coffee Group, and to the Teviot Prospects. Copies have been left here at the service centre. In fact, they've got a whole box. And I've dropped copies off at vendors both at Ettrick and at Miller's Flat and at 103 at the store. And they and I suggested when I posted that they put shop coffee on it, which is in high demand. I printed 200 copies, which is double what I've printed in the past. We will be sending copies to both Roxburgh School and Miller's Flat School, and to the Grid Estate agents, just so that they have. It is available online, and so it's just to educate people that you can get this online. Focus for the now turns to implementation. Teviot Prospects has begun conversations to that regard, as has the board itself through its planning processes for this new term. I just want to take this opportunity to thank the Teviot Valley community for their participation in the process and for the board for its support throughout it. As I've said it previously, and I want to say again, working with communities to develop community plans is really a highlight of my job, and I feel very privileged to be able to do that.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. Great work, and it's a great great document. Windy board members. Questions? I think the challenge that we now face is how do we implement a lot of these suggestions. You've got the document there with 100 suggestions, and the issue we face is who's going to undertake them, who's going to do them, and it may be thought that it's the 3 of us around the table who are going to do them, but that's not right. We're here as a advocate and someone that can help to push something in the first instance, initiate it in some ways, but we're not the doers of it, and it's not a limitless pot of money. Teviot Prospects can be of assistance as well, but it's up to members of the community to say, I've had a read of this and I really agree with it. I really want to get something going. So I urge members of the community to see that community plan and don't just say, yeah, they should do that. The they is you. So that's how I see it. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Fantastic piece of work.
You know, like a coffee drink. I've got it. I actually stole it from the shop. It's got the shop copy. And it's been really interesting going. It's been interesting going through it, and especially the exploring the need for CCTV cameras. I went to 2 of those meetings, and that was never mentioned. Conversation with our policemen around this table.
Yeah, you've had more than one conversation. Yeah.
But no, so it is very cool.
And it's and it is that we've talked about that at both the business breakfast and at Miller's Flat Coffee Group. And there's a variety of views on that topic about whether or not they should exist, they should be here in the valley. And then if they do have funds here.
So as that document was getting completed as a community board, we did sit around and have a good look at some early parts of it. And we decided that there were 3 very large opportunities there. And we've grasped those, or 4, we've grasped those and created 4 pillars of activity. The first one being the renewal of the town hall and entertainment centre. Curtis is he's grappling with that. The second one was looking to see how we can gain some benefit from any initiatives that are going to happen in the future for new community housing proposals, and put our hand up to be one of the people there. Jill and Hayden are working on that. The third one, the large pillar, was the gymnasium. We don't have a full-size gymnasium here in this town. The nearest one is 3/4 of an hour drive away. So that is a question that's been raised, and that's something that Becky is grappling with as to how that might, how we could ever achieve something like that. And the fourth one was a request relating to health services and a request for continued provision of integrated health services in the town. And that's one that I'm working on. Again, it's not in the remit of the community board to provide health services, nor is it in the remit of the council to provide health services. However, as community leaders, we can lead and initiate and advocate for such things. And that's what we will be doing. Any questions from anybody? Is there anybody in the community, anybody else around the table got any questions about it? Great. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Rebecca. Oh, so
Stephen.
I moved that that report be received. Is that what it is?
Received and its contents.
Received and its content noted. Do I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Becky. All those in favour? Right. Moving on, we've caught up. Okay. So the next item, before we move to the next item, which is 26.5.4, the next item is entitled Divestment of Miller's Flat Bowling Club. But before we move and open that item, I have to say that I have some interest in this issue. The interest that I have is not a financial interest of any type, of any nature. So I don't have a financial interest in the issue. I don't have a financial conflict of interest, therefore. I do, however, have a social interest in the issue. And the social interest that I have in the issue is an issue of it going ahead to keep it. And that social interest is of no more greater social interest than any other member of the Miller's Flat Teviot Valley community. I also have a social interest in it not being taken away. Again, no greater or lesser than the rest of the Miller's Flat community. There may be some concerns. It's been suggested to me that my interest in it as the chairman of the organising committee for the domain renewal and for the retention of this building, and the fact that I'm chairman of Teviot Prospects may put me in a conflict of interest situation if I was around the table talking about it. it would certainly put me in a position where my mind is very, very strongly in one direction. It would be very difficult for somebody to change my mind. Therefore, I won't be speaking during that item. The item's not open, but I will give some thoughts about the item now before the members of the community board consider, listen to the paper from the council and before they discuss it. My view on it is as follows, and I could have done this during the public forum, but I'm doing it now instead. The very brief history is that there were some buildings proposed to be divested in 2023 and 4 to save money for the council, about 40 buildings. And there were 3 or 4 in the Teviot Valley, being the Miller's Flat Hall, the bowling, the squash club, and the Miller's Flat Bowling Pavilion. They were determined that we'd get rid of the Miller's Flat, the squash club. We proposed that we keep the hall, and we proposed to the council that given that there was a group that wanted to buy the pavilion and take it off of the council's hands and the resultant legal liability and financial liability, and there was a group ready to do it, this board voted for it to go on consideration for divestment. It went to the council agrees to divest it based on the fact that there was a group intending to buy it. The CEO was instructed to undertake that process, and he agreed to sell it to the group for $1. Subsequent to that, there were independent building reports produced about the building, which said that structurally the whole of the complex, the roof, walls, subfloor, in sound condition. The only reconstruction required was 2 small wooden windows in the southwestern toilets. The other 11 or 13 aluminium windows were fine. They subsequently had a asbestos report that came up fine. The only asbestos in the building was some underneath some vinyl on the floor and some eaves. The comment from the professional asbestos report was that there was no danger or harm likely to come from to any humans with the use of the building. However, if it was to be deconstructed, you'd have to be careful about that. So 2 sources of aluminium. The main group sourced some trust funds to be able to upgrade that building. Hasn't been really maintained very well or at all in the last 30 years, and trust funds are available to fix that building, put a new roof on and give it a complete repaint and a 50-year cap around it. However, it's now been determined that it sits on a acre road for nowhere, and that after 100 years, it's all of a sudden now a dangerous obstruction, and it's obstructing the 2 neighbours from getting to their land either side, which is the neighbours could alternatively just walk to the back of their section rather than walking over that back road. I think, and the council have proposed to spend $120,000 taking it away as the result and leaving nothing there for the community. A big wind tunnel there. Councillors were led to believe that there would be significant holding costs of holding it originally. There weren't significant holding costs. That wasn't true. Councillors had not, when they made the decision, seen the results of the what we were doing in the domain, so they didn't have the confidence of our group that they could really look after a building of such as nature and renovate and retrieve it. Councillors, if they were to vote on it, they would now see that we do have that ability and that track record. Councillors thought that divestment, they agreed to divest it because they thought divestment meant selling it. They didn't agree to divest it because they thought divestment meant demolition. These 3 things have all changed. Yeah, if I was contributing to discussion, that would be my thoughts. I'm not contributing to discussion, but we'll open the item, and I welcome Janice to come and present the report. During this session, I will remain silent. It'll be chaired by Betty, Mr. Chair, and I'll be available for questions, but not to speak or vote.
Thank you. And firstly, I just want to acknowledge the Teviot Valley and the volunteers that do so much in this community. It's very similar to Maniotaua where I'm from, and the volunteers do so much too. This report isn't a question about the ability of the volunteers to take on their building. We did go down we had a few false starts as far as the hub taking the building on for $1, and that was agreed that would happen. When they would take on the building for $1 and the lease would be issued. When we went to our legal advisors to get the lease drawn up, we were told on no uncertain terms that we could not do that. And that is because it sits on a paper road. And yes, council look after the paper roads, but council do not own the title to those roads. They are public roads. Or not, the neighbours can walk over that land as immaterial. It is unlawful for that building to be on the paper road. That is the advice we have received from our solicitors. And it's on that basis that we presented this paper today. Back in the days of the Tuapeka County Council, when the building was built, they thought they were doing the right thing. Now we know that it is not lawful. We cannot continue to perpetuate an unlawful activity. So there has been some discussions about looking at an easement. And there was also some discussions on the building with asbestos and the condition of the building. As a community group, you felt you could manage that adequately. I've got to say, our property department, we don't quite align with that, but if that's the decision you've taken, that is fine. This issue is about the paper road. And the legal advice we have received is that while it is not insurmountable, it would be a very, very difficult, long and costly process to have that road stopped. It would never be stopped.
Are we able to see that legal opinion?
Absolutely. There's also case law.
Yeah, absolutely like to see it. Yes, we have all that information, because I think you are saying yes, it may be unsurmountable, but isn't that the decision that the hub group need to make?
As you said,
Is
it's not
that
insurmountable.
not
It might just cost you quite a lot.
Exactly, but isn't that something that needs to be given the option to have a look at, instead of just kind of going, oh no, it's now dangerous obstruction, this is too much. I think there needs to be more investigation, and yeah, that I just think the group needs to be given that opportunity instead of just going, no.
So that's probably a decision for this board on what you wanted to recommend to
Yeah,
council. We're just giving our professional advice on the work. But
Yeah, I understand that, but yeah, I think, I don't know, without saying the legal opinion, I don't know how many other options that, what legal advice, like the easement issue. I understand, yes, there is a paper road, there's an application that would need to be made to stop that paper road, but I think that needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
First.
We've got a bit of an image up here just so everyone's on the same page. Everybody see that? So we've got the other image here, just so we can just see the different land. Yeah. To make it a little bit easier. Now, if we change the layers on it, this is the council site GIS platform for anyone that's watching online. Just go property, no planning. Have you got the planning layer? You can just see.
Go up to scroll, then the about property.
Oh, you don't have the access to it? No.
Yeah, just go to the one in page.
Okay, on the agenda, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just bring it up here. I think there's a couple of people online watching. Yeah, cool. Do you want to go through that?
Yes, so the problem is it's different owners on the titles. So the first, what you see, purple and blue, share the same owners, but the yellow section is not. It shares some same owners, but additional owners as well.
And even putting an easement down there, they're still going to be main landlocked. Now, while those current owners may have no problem with it, land changes hands all the time, and future owners may have a problem. And we're still in the same situation of a building being on the road they can't be stopped.
Where does that road go to? So,
Yeah.
so that you've got paper road in the red, and it goes to where? It goes straight through to the boat camp? Or does it come
Does it just
round
stop there?
Historically, that's a decent parcel there. So that's a decent parcel there. So
That's where the paper road is.
yeah,
It doesn't go anywhere.
It goes nowhere, and yet it has absolutely no traffic on it at all,
so
but it's a dangerous
it's a legal
obstruction.
road. It's a legal road. In reality,
How difficult does that have to
makes no difference.
We don't.
Legal road.
Paper road, it's not.
Yeah.
No, an unformed legal road still has every right as a formed legal road.
Yeah, I understand that.
Every right, but every access way that a legal road has, this carries it. Just because it's unformed does not change it.
Yeah.
So
In the eyes of the
layman's
law.
terms, I looked at this and I went, oh yeah, stop the road.
We all look.
Right, we all did. And
looks
looked
pretty
historically into this and got, there was actually legal opinion that we've got quite a few years ago by David, and Abercrombie, and we brought that up, and I thought, oh, well, I'm sure we can make this happen. We, again, for more legal advice, and this is the advice that we can give. We have to still, we're not trying to hide anything. So we're saying you can stop the road. I don't know if it's going to be possible, if it's going to be long, lengthy, costly. It's definitely going to be there. But you guys are welcome, if the board decides to do that, to go down that route. That's why one of the options in the paper is to.
So if that road is stopped, we paid per square metre, land value per square metre.
I actually think that costing is irrelevant. I think the cost to stop the road itself is getting the cost. Yeah, I mean, because there's subdivision costs and we're starting, I mean, but that's all standard. But some road stoppings that are difficult can take years. And while it's taking years, there are people working in the background. So the board chooses to do this and the trust say they're prepared to take on their cost. Well, absolutely recommend it.
I just wondered, sorry, Jim. When was a landlocked section in a, that shouldn't have been allowed to happen?
That's why the roads in place.
That's way back into.
But the road is also effectively
Yeah.
landlocked. Yeah, so we should not have permitted that to become a section at some point in the past.
We did not, Turkey County Council did, and they
Which
were going
is
to,
now. But it's
effectively, and they were going to go ahead with road stopping, and then they just did not do it, and we suspect they did not do it because they weren't allowed to do it. We don't know for sure, we can't look back in history, but that seems to be, it went dead at that point, because they were seeking to stop that. They had gone through all the local government missions, but then it just stopped dead.
Is that because of the amalgamation with, forming the council system?
No, quite some time.
So is it reserved status? Right, yes,
Yes.
and what's that little piece behind the red?
That's limits.
That's limits.
Yeah.
Ground.
So there's a very steep bank.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so there's never going to be a road built there.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a
I mean,
road.
if you're going to walk along.
I don't see why this has to be so difficult.
Yeah.
I,
The law,
you know,
it's the
that's
law.
the law.
We can't deal with that any other way.
As the saying goes, the law isn't as.
It is.
It's just, it makes it too hard. We've got a community plan for stuff. Right? Yeah, biggest obstacle with everything we watch do is council.
That's
What's
right.
the bottom underneath the red?
It's
Is that private? Underneath.
That's ground.
That's
No,
not-
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah, so that's private land, and that's private land, and that's private land, and that's private land. So you already have a landlocked road and a landlocked section, both of which you're not for Mr. Teviot.
Sorry, that's Crown land.
That's Crown.
That's Crown.
No, we're talking about.
Private. It's private.
Crown as well.
No, he's got his building on.
Yeah.
That's private.
So effectively, that's Crown land, so that could be turned into a road. And then you would have.
What?
So that's Crown land that someone's approaching on.
bring up, yeah, just click on that. You just see the land.
But yeah.
Or you look at them.
Why can't council just own the building and you just?
We don't.
Yeah, that's Crown.
I'm going to put this to, I'd like to know if council's made the decision to divest of this building. Why can't they make the decision to keep it next community limit?
We cannot allow that because the only mechanism for that to happen is for the building to be sold to the entity that want to run the building and lease the land underneath it. We cannot lease the land legally. We have been told we cannot issue a lease.
So who was in the building? So the young farmers were in the building previously, before that there was the. Who is the landlord?
It was erroneously leased illegally at that time, and we didn't understand that until we went to get a lease for the land issue. Then we were told by our legal advisors on no uncertain terms that it would be illegal for us to issue a lease. And now that council know that, we have a responsibility. We cannot continue to do illegal, unlawful activities.
What is it? We'll just use it.
Same deal. We can't issue a license.
So you pick up the building, cannot remain there, if it remains a road. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And if
But
it
there's
is,
no ability to change it to not be road.
What about
Well,
the
Only
system?
like pay out the money.
Well, there's always a way, we just don't know how much. It would likely be a lot, you know, but just back to that conversation before, so see the neighbouring land there is also Crown, and that goes back to state highway, so that's the road that's there goes right through into the Crown, and then the Crown is also, can you click on the one just below the bowling club section? Yep, that one there.
That's got no existing use rights.
Either.
Yeah, that's also the Crown too, so,
Yeah, you're not going to sing the whole way through a flood part of lake, are you?
no, that's right, yeah. Yes. So,
Actually, not on that angle, on that bank. So what about existing use rights? Can we explore existing use rights? Because it has been occupied. There has been no traffic accidents on that piece of road. And you know, that it gets too hard. Just ridiculous.
I've actually got a question. Can I ask? You're saying that this was done by Turapika thing and you can't go back to the stuff. If the council makes a law today and in 40 years' time decide that's lawful, you're going to go back and move us too?
so we did go there. It was a recorded white stop.
But it doesn't matter though. If they've given them permission, it's just like if I go there and say I want my land done and the council goes yes, and then I do nothing with it, and then all of a sudden down the track you decide, now we want to do something there. Are you actually going to do anything on that too? It seems like the law's been made. You keep quoting this is the law. It's unlawful to put them put it there. Clearly, they did everything back in there in good intentions, not to be against the law and to be pulled out again.
But they never finished the process.
So I'm saying
They
same thing happened
went
today.
through, they made the resolutions as councils and community boards do. They made the resolutions, but they never did the legal finishing of it. They didn't start it and they didn't finish that legal process. So that never changed the status of that road.
But as you say, you knew nothing about this until you tried to lease it out. Like up until that moment, there was never an issue.
Yeah, we knew they had done it. We saw that they had done it and we thought, oh yeah, we can stop this, we can get this stopped. But then we were wrong. Clearly we were wrong. We sought information from apartments and we thought we could do it. And then when we tried to do it, legal advice said we cannot.
So what's the beneficial of doing all this though, other than hurting the community? Because you've actually said it yourself, there was nothing wrong with it until you tried. But who's asked you tried then? Because the community's been there since what, 93 years?
93 years.
Yeah, like
So how this came about was the group asked for a sale and purchase agreement that they asked to
Yeah,
purchase
I realise that, but why can't you leave it as it is then today?
and a lease on the land. So that's how this came. So they wanted a process that we were going up, which we couldn't achieve. And so now we're back here at the community board going, here's a hurdle that we've found. What road would you like us to go up now? We've given our recommended road. And if you guys want to go up another one, that's a decision for the board. We can't say how much it would cost or how long it would take or anything like that. But that's kind of where we are at today.
So what happens if we don't ask for a lease and we don't pay, we don't buy it for $1, but we just use the pavilion as it is, where it is?
Like we should have to ask council not to divest this building. So this board asked council to divest this building.
We don't know, in all fairness, that was asked, before we knew all the legal entanglement bullshit that's going on.
Yeah.
I also-
So maybe we pass a motion, then we're a full board that we take back and, council keeps the board and we'll look after it.
Well, it's a decision for council.
Yeah.
Council's already made a decision.
Well, things that work for us and we're now
I was just gonna say,
we're now putting something towards you now that all this new crap's come to light, that we now have a different way of looking at it. We'll take it back to council and ask.
We're happy to take it back to council, we're happy to take your recommendations back to council and the community board can represent that to council. And council can have reconsider that in light of the information that you're providing. The chances are, and I can't speak for council, but what I can say is, road closures can cost anywhere between 50 to 80,000. Something like this is going to be pretty complicated. Could cost a lot more. Limbs won't allow us to stop the road if it's a landlocked section. They just won't. So that's the fact. We can argue this today.
So how have Lynn's been affected by this?
No, let me finish. And so all that will have to be considered by council when they make that decision. But it's most likely that council won't be looking for fun. My advice would be we would not be looking to fund the road stopping because that's going to be an expensive cost. It's OPEX, it's going to come off the ratepayer. We don't think, in the light of the current decision, that that's a cost that we should incur. If it's a cost that the Teviot prospects want to follow, then absolutely, then we could support that.
But you will find 120,000 to demolish them.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing, because we also should never have allowed, whether it was on that sword pepper, a landlocked section. It should not. And that, you didn't say you can't close it because then they can't, they can't access. There's no road, we're building in the way.
I know, but that's the law. I mean, you can argue all day about this, but the law is.
I'd like to hear why does that community have to pay for something that they have no control over the stuff at the state? So they're doing something to essentially taking stuff off the ratepayer, taking the stuff away from the council. And then we'll just come back to no, we're going to demolish it and cost us $130,000.
Sorry, can I just say something? So you're talking about council, it's actually not, it's the district ratepayers. So you're saying why should the Teviot ratepayers be there? Why should the district ratepayers be for the
Right.
right?
And with road stopping, council's policy is the applicant pays the cost of road stopping. It is not what the ratepayer is paid for the, which in this case would be.
It's just thinking as an argument made that we're not. That's all. In this case, should be fronting the cost of that because at the end of the day, it was the mistake. Regardless if it was to affect whatever, you've been here of that decision was the wrong decision. Therefore, potentially it could be council that should be liable to make that cost because you made the wrong decision. So you know you should make it right.
That's a decision for the board and council. Yeah, just to be clear. Yeah.
But obviously, I think also today there's only effectively 2 community board members.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is I don't think it's democratic for Jim and I to make that decision because we can't use Mark.
Yeah.
We don't have our other 2 representatives here.
Yeah.
So my feeling is that we we table it for the next meeting, but we're also saying that we don't agree with the recommendation one. We have a separate proposal and we'd like to. Is that how I say it?
Yeah. Well, the legal advice and maybe some more detail.
Legal advice.
Come back, so that you can then make it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I've got my
that-
cards on the table, you know, I'm very much for the pavilion. You look at our community plan and we use words like resilience and sustainability. But when it comes to the actions, it's not there. And I'm very for having that pavilion there, but we do need to have a full.
Absolutely, and we need more information, we need to see that, we need to, you know, potentially what kind of costs we're looking at.
Yeah, good content.
I,
We can probably give you a scale.
yeah, well, that would be good.
But and maybe an example of what a semi-complicated road stopping is cost.
Yeah.
But defining this cost.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah, absolutely.
So as an option, if you want, you could make those resolutions if you wanted to leave that and until X, Y has brought back, or. You know, you might just leave it.
Play it on the table.
Yeah,
It's additional information, including the legal advice. And
Rough and indicative, very rough and indicative. Very rough.
Yeah, and does it need to stay in the long-term plan as well? Like if we're gonna look at maybe reducing, you know,
Yeah,
that.
so any
Sorry,
of this discussion right now isn't in the long-term plan.
Yeah.
So, and I think just timing wise, if the consideration, however that is, you know, that's have to go to council to be approved.
Yeah.
And so I'd probably even suggest a discussion with the community group who want to take it on, what their funding situation
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just pointing out, then they could note all of the stuff, we could get all the information.
Yeah.
They could come to the next council meeting, because if timing right, it's for that, should we not be still putting our paper to the next council meeting? But it's not a big nothing.
There's no rush for that.
Well, there is a rush because of LTP budget.
We have to have our budgets finalised by involved.
We're not going to use,
But we,
is there a suggestion we might use some council
So
funds?
you've got a budget line with the definition, which either needs to come in or go out. Right. So what I'm saying, and not really under rush, come to the council meeting, present, we'll give you all the facts and figures that we can. You guys could, Sarah, potentially call an extraordinary meeting.
Yeah, we could.
Right? But I think our paper still needs to go to the next council meeting.
so you're going to budget demolition in your LTP by the end of August.
The budget for demolition is already in
So
the
this is
annual
right.
plan and it's an OPEX cost.
So why does it need to go in the LTP? If it's already in the OPEX plan for this year?
We will seek to carry it into this annual plan year. And finance if we can do that. If
Well, it's already in this annual plan for this year.
But an optics cost is a direct effect of rates.
It's already been voted on and it's in, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tagged to demolition.
it's already in the budget.
it was.
But you don't
So
have
the
to.
demolition.
Not just because it's a plan.
No, but the fact is, we, under the decision by council to divest of that, we've been funded a range of options of what that divestment is. In this case, was for pavilion, demolition, team went out, got costs, we know what that cost is, we're budgeting for that.
Right.
The intent would be to expense that money in this financial year, we're currently at,
Yes.
or we have to carry it over into the next financial year.
So it's a question of carrying it over, not spending it out. So we have to go in LTP if there was a suggestion that it might be carried over for demolition in the following year.
Look, I guess it's simple things that if the council's decisions to continue to demolish it, then we would get rid of it in this financial year, because that's what we're budgeted for. If the decision is to delay any decisions and push it into the following financial years, but then so be it. But at the moment, we're budgeted to do it.
I want to ask, is why is it a budget for 120,000? Where if you had to get rid of the building, why don't you give it to our private company?
Well, that's problematic too. I mean, because we,
This much
Yeah.
asbestos.
yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah.
that can be cut out and
So
it's sealed. Yeah.
So let's demolish what's left.
yeah,
There's a cost, you gotta No, no, you have to pick that up, take that away, dispose of it, or so on and so on. It just doesn't sit there.
I think we need, I can't speak for the chief, I think we need some time, I think the community board needs some time, rather than making any decisions right now.
I think the decision needs to be taken to them.
But like I said, their prospects as well, because they're the ones who are going to have to
Yeah.
fund this.
Well, they haven't advised you of any potential costs.
But I think you could say it's significant.
I don't see why you can, if you've got 120 decide to demolish it, I don't see why you cannot be changing that money to fund, you know, just a different use of it.
If that's
We
a
get
council
very,
decision.
we get very little out of our rates, we get very little come back here apart from roading. It'd be really nice to see some money back in there.
Yeah, we've got it up there as actually going to have a read of that, guys, and see.
Not sure that's where we.
Well, I don't think we're ready to come. I think bring it back here in a year, in a month's time. We won't be ready by then.
I think we should meet with Hayden and Curtis and have a very serious round table about this matter. Plus, you know. Not happy.
No rush.
Yeah. I know, but
Fourth anyway. So it's third of September.
when you got the CMR to be demolished,
Well, we've budgeted for it for this financial year. From July through June.
so we've got time.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
that's
So I think we just do that. Yeah. Did a great job.
Did you want to mention the committee that you've been working with in there as well? Just explore it with the two of them.
Yes.
Or you can just leave what if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we'll follow up on that with the,
Yeah.
with the,
The quite big board recognizes the council. But
Yeah.
it doesn't cost.
Yeah. Doesn't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, I want to keep it nice. Yeah.
So if we decide to go ahead with it, what happens to the 120,000 to be allocated?
Well, if you request that money from council, and then that's a decision of council.
Say they're not going to request it, just saying, we've done a lot of and come up with money ourselves. What happens to the?
Then it remains unspent, and we would not give that confidence.
It may not be what happens to that.
That budget for the following year. Or if there was a high priority item, that council would agree to fund it in its budget. But right now, it is tagged to that particular item.
So, do I first and second it, do I?
Bill, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Vicky. If I reassume the chairmanship. What that? See you standing, it's not. Right, while we're talking about road stopping, yes, driving away. Oh.
What's that?
This is new. Oh, this is Lily's bit.
Down, that's Zilla. I thought, oh, sorry. My name's been changed. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Right, let's move on to this item, 26/5, which is road stopping application. And 15/35/37 Millsflat Road. Thank you, Zelda. Tell us all about it.
I take the report as read. I need to note for a start that we've changed our road stopping policy recently, which also gives us a bit more flexibility on our reporting and requesting the legal route to take. So we can either do a road stopping in terms of the Local Government Act, which council has control over, the Public Works Act, which is a decision made by the Minister of Lands in the. So we can process the whole road stopping through the Public Works Act and reach the end, and the minister can say no, and we have to go back to the LGA process. So my reports now are covering both ends, so that I don't have to come back to the board and council which are dealing with the road stopping to the Public Works Act. So we are proposing, as per my recommendation, for this road stopping to continue in terms of the Public Works Act. But we also wanted to highlight the fact that there's water races involved in this road stopping, and that the applicant has indicated and he's spoken to Lenders to incorporate those water races, which was apparently error years ago, to amalgamate to his titles. That would mean that we can proceed with the road stopping in terms of the Public Works Act. There's also a subdivision being occurring in those things running parallel. So the request today is that we give ourselves flexibility to process this road stopping. So we approve it into TWA, but if that falls over, I can continue with the road stopping in terms of the Local Government Act. The process is just slightly different, longer process, more public notice for the LGA, whereas the Public Works Act is a quicker, faster process, but we need to tick all the boxes. So hence my complicated recommendation.
Thank you, Zola. I've read it and I know the property there and I can understand what they're trying to achieve. Any comments from the board? Okay, so if we're gonna do it, we're gonna go on three. So they've asked us to agree to proceed to stop the road. That is the recommendation. It is not, so if we go with option 1, that we agree, I propose option 1 personally, that we agree to recommend to council to proceed to stop the unnamed legal road as shown in the appendix in accordance with the Public Works Act. Local Government. Whichever is found to be most suitable is one of the key things you've said to us. That's what I recommend. Can I have a seconder for that? Thank you. Seconded by Jill. That's as per what's on the agenda, that is.
I was trying to get this straight.
And all those in favour?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Easy. Thank you for your good work, building department. All right. We're here to plan. So for the bird flu, like.
Not my bird flu, but I am here on behalf of Alex just to give the board an update on council's involvement in preparing for the bird flu should it get to our. So we know, we said that there's been flu confirmed cases of bird flu in New Zealand, so on first people. 2 birds have been tested positive, dead birds tested positive with bird flu. So the ORC have reached out to our council to make sure that we're ready to go. Should it get into our responsibility is to look after that, obviously our land. So if there are birds dead in the land, what we should do with them. So we have got identified risk areas, obviously around water. This is that like to see a few birds. And also keep a plan in place for initially believe the birds, because certainly if birds are infected and not dead, if we can leave them and they can survive through, then they provide immunity for other bird species. So that is our intention, and to let people know to leave them. But we do have, ORC have issued out some PPE gear, and we will be able to collect them if we get large numbers. And so obviously the key is that MPI is the lead agency, and ORC is supporting that. We will direct all information to them, but we just are aware that our responsibility of this on our area.
So council's been given $3 million. Per council, is that right?
But no, we need all that.
It was on $3 million. It's at $3 million throughout all councils. There has been some money that has been allocated for the food.
And maybe that's to do with the PPE that you've been issued, and they also have created some signage that we can put up in our spaces. So maybe that's what.
That's that regional council.
I can tell you, I know that MPI and IC worked together to develop signage for us to put out. At this stage, we've no money, and we just got to manage it and what we do and no daily business. So yeah, we just, I guess our goal is really around education at this point, to let people know, leave birds, or if you have birds dead in your private properties, bury them, because the other risk is if a cat or a dog eats them.
So Bruce Robinson of the audit, he gave to the Southwood Council last year, saying that bird flu is like snowmobile of this morning. And it was going to be arriving last spring, and it didn't. So I was looking at through the Subantarctics, and then suddenly it sort of like disappeared. And now in the middle of winter, it's rocked up in Australia and New Zealand. I'm not quite sure how that works, because it hasn't covered with birds.
No.
You know, so
Yeah, I have no idea.
No, I don't. It's
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a good time that if we were to get it, we would get less traffic. All we know is that we've only got 2 birds that are on the coast. I dare say we'll be notified if they'll come in, and at that point, I mean, we don't want any alarmist behaviour right now. It is what it is, and we can't stop it. And so we're just going to be ready, and we have a plan if it gets into.
Right, thank you very much. When was the first or last one that a bird that was found? Is it like?
Oh, probably 3 weeks ago, but within a week of each other.
So, oh,
Or Wellington and
and then 2 could become 4, could become 8 within the day.
They're
So,
quite random birds as well, like the
Yeah.
first one was quite a.
Lightweight, eh? Not a haggard old seagull, a senior bird.
Why?
thank you very much, Paula. It's one of those things that you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't take any action, but we've taken some action. And we're ready for the next phase if needed. The report is received and its contents are noted. Thank you very much.
Then we'll just have a move.
Okay, so I move that the report be received and its contents are noted. Thank you, Becky. All those in favour? Carry on. Right, the next one that we've got now is the reports from various people. So I'm going to start with the mayor's report.
Thank you. And just noted down some highlights in the last couple of weeks that I've been out and about going to. So I attended the Waiora Monthly Care Governance Group final meeting, recognising the progress of the Manahira Care Captain project and celebrating the journey from the initial funding through to delivery. They've taken out a huge amount of willows in the basin and also created a beautiful wetlands, and encouraged a lot of farmers to get on board taking out willows and things like that. One of the fun things is that for the last 7 years, I think since they founded it, the senior students from Open Coast School have been doing the water monitoring at the wetlands. So they are learning that science too, which is quite fun. I attended a session hosted by Hawks with Mining at their Coal Creek site and learned about a very ambitious plan to potentially move that Highway 8 to get it the gold underneath. So watch this space. Hosted a ministerial visit for Casey Costello with Grey Power, providing an opportunity to discuss issues of the residents and local community. Minister Costello outlined the plan for better living in later life and we filled her in on what's happening locally, including with housing right throughout the district. I hosted a podcast for Arcona LGNZ on LTP as a time of rates camping, which is a moving piece. Attended council meetings and workshops, including discussions on strategic projects and upcoming council business affecting communities across the district. Few big topics on the agenda: the Head Start conversations, the long-term plan, the rates review, and then alongside RMA reform, fast track, civil defence reform, rates capping. Attended a beautiful and relatively warm Matariki dawn service with the Whenua House at Lookout in Alexandra, followed by Colin. It was a great evening, well attended, and lovely reflection and opportunity to reset for the new year. Great. If you didn't do that well on your New Year's resolutions in January, you get another threat in July. We opened. It's quite big, yeah. We opened the Te Puna Mahara Bromwell Memorial Event Centre with a really great turnout. And hopefully there were some really neat little things in that building, which would be really great to see picked up for this building. Just the little places where they put lights in behind seating, or highlighting different features, so you can definitely recommend to the Teviot Valley steering project group on that, steal any good ideas that they see. Best of luck to the huge number of teams competing in the annual 7-a-side tournament at Lewis Flats this weekend. I heard it might be 120 rugby.
Yeah.
And what did you say, 40 odd people?
40 little teams,
Yeah, which is a huge amount of kids. It's massive for the so
4,000 people there.
very exciting. And I also just wanted to acknowledge the passing of Senior Constable Jess Owens, who was the man's early soul charge cop, much like you have a soul charge cop down here, beloved by the Maniapoto community, even though they had been there for a relatively short time, and I think that was evident in how well attended by locals his funeral was in Ransbury on Tuesday. So yeah, also with him, his family, and the wider community. That's my report.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I recommend the mayor's report be accepted. Those in favour?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so the next one is the chairman's report. Me. So things that I've been up to the last month. I've been to some medical services trust meeting, and that's interesting that they are basically the landlords of the rest home and medical centre. So looking towards the future is how they could, what things do we do in the future there? How can we manage the country? Had a bit of goings on with the Ida McDonald Vale Trusts to see. We're talking about potential for amalgamation and see if that could ever happen. That's another thing. Teviot Prospects meeting, we've been talking about in Old Strat Hall. Community plan with Rebecca. Some questions about the Teviot Street trees, which have now been done, and no one's happy about that, but it's had to be done. There's a big thing for our valley here is the alluvial fans, and the potential downside there is enormous in terms of property and people and values and insurance, etc. So, regional council had a lead on this issue, and they are grinding away, and their tentative time frame is they've been talking to Louise, and Louise passed on to me, is that they're preparing a long list of potential hazard management options. The last list had a list of what they were, I thought, but and associated engagement activities to be completed by the end of September or early October. So that sounds like they're going to have a chat about it again. I don't actually get it done, which is frustrating because I thought I identified that what they're going to do is get some bulldozers and get it done. Yeah.
So, if I understand it, my background is that the regional council and LINZ take care of Blackjack's golf club, the golf course in Stevenson's Craigs, is that right?
The regional council taking responsibility, did you say?
Yeah, they take care of those fans, and then Slaughterhouse Creek on Western there to see. Which was a
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's by quick only the councils.
Not the actual
It just keeping the shoots cleared. Yeah.
Which that one really
So page 2 says, I'll carry on, sorry, but this is page 2. That's on a short list of options of each catchment, group of catchments and social activities will be completed by the end of June next year. That's a short list of options. And the third thing, assessment of maintenance improvements and potential adjustments by the end of this to the CDEM event response. So that's not actually clearing them, it's adjustments to the CDE, which is an emergency management response. It's not actually clearing them. So not sharing speed, is it?
Well, as a borough, those things were cleaned out and made sure that it was dropped into the river every 2 to 3 years. And I don't think that they have been touched since 2017. And so the next fund will get where it's going to do serious damage and will be blamed on climate change.
And that email though, when we go to like September, we've got photos from the stakeholders together, like CDC, say management, and then to discuss what those items of mitigation can do. So it's going to be a full community meeting. I think that comes later. But that might give you an opportunity to voice what you're voicing about.
Yeah. The problem is that it's, with the liability, it's likely to be ORCs. And obviously, as a council and community board, we don't hold the cards to commit them to spending money. It's struggling as hell, but we're the likely to get a little bit. Bring on the new environment or not. Okay, so that's the regional council. We've got to follow their process. The next thing on my list was that was the mining. I've had a couple of mine meetings, which is quite illuminating to see the 150 people at the Coal Creek one and about 50 people at the Miller's Flat one. Very little crossover of people. But the mine, we're going to do Miller's Flat extension, so now we can do Coal Creek first. I think. But anyway, that's happening. Happening thing. Lake Onslow, there's been no real contact with them. I understand this, but there's been no real contact with them. I do believe they've attracted 3 New Zealand based shareholders, and that they've contributed sufficient funds to progress the substantial consent preparation and engineering. So they're moving to the next phase, and the consent they're leading to, I presume, is the fast track consent. And so they've been put in the chute and said, yep, you're in the chute, now give us a substantial proposal. So they've got the money to produce the substantial proposal. Where they're at. Wood reserves. Been thinking and trying to get somewhere with a foundation for the future for our repository of funds for us, so we can have a Miller's Flat, a Teviot Valley Foundation, and that's ongoing. Quite a lot of work on Miller's Flat Pavilion, and this week we're working on as Mayor said, we've been working on this week on Saturday with 4,000 people coming. Everything's looking really smooth and span there. It's looking great. So that's good news. Managed to support the All Whites in Los Angeles and Vancouver and the All Blacks in Auckland. And that's all my report. I do have a report here from Curtis, and I'm going to read that out. Oh, so do I have to propose my report gets accepted? All right. All those propose my report gets accepted. Thank you very much. So the third report is from Curtis, who is away today. He gave us his apology. This is his report. I was and remain of the view that local government reform is something we can't hide from. If change is coming, we need to be at the table, helping design the next system and protecting the things that matter to most to Central Otago. Those things include, firstly, strong local representation and decision making. Secondly, Community councils with the ability to rate locally for local priorities, keeping local decisions in local hands. Thirdly, regional services delivered efficiently at scale. Fourthly, options to appropriately ring-fence existing council debt, ensuring Central Otago ratepayers are not unfairly exposed to the historic debt of other councils. He continues, doing nothing was not an option. As elected members, we have taken an oath to act in the best interest of our district, and I believe it is important that Central Otago is actually involved in shaping its own future. If the proposal is accepted by government, there will be 12 to 18 months of detailed analysis, discussion, and extensive community engagement before any decisions are made. That's his part on the amalgamation. It continues now with another heading, which is CODC rates review. Council will begin community engagement and consultation on the rates review with a consultation document being released next week. Keep an eye out for the dates and locations of local information and drop-in sessions. In the Teviot, an information session will be held on the evening of Tuesday, the 18th of August, followed by 2 drop-in sessions on Wednesday, the 19th of August. Everyone is encouraged to get involved, learn more about what's been proposed, ask questions, and have their say. This follows the first round of community engagements for the Entertainment Centre project. So we're talking about another engagement here. With Teviot Architects being community engagement in the week starting the 3rd of August. A number of information sessions and public drop-in opportunities will be held across the Wednesday and Thursday of that week. Once again, everyone is encouraged to get involved. Community feedback will play an important role in helping shape what an important future community facility could look like. Next topic he raises is the Hawkesbury mining update. Finally, I note that I have attended 2 community meetings at Coal Creek regarding Hawkesbury Mining's proposed expansion of the valley over the coming months. It was encouraging to see local residents engaging with the process and asking questions about the proposal. Thank you. It was about Curtis Pennant. That's Curtis's report. I would just add that in terms of saying there's various community events coming on, there are. And they're all in this week's Teviot Valley Bulletin. And I'll note that there's on the 29th of July, there's a mine meeting. On the 5th and 6th of August, there's meetings about the Town Hall and Entertainment Centre rebuild. On the 7th, there's a mine meeting. And on the 18th, there's a rates review meeting. Those are all public meetings. And there may well be something to discuss the amalgamation issues.
I think Wednesday, wasn't it?
The
rate review meeting.
rate reviews. Up here. Rates review. Just got 18th in the Teviot Bulletin. At this point, maybe it's the 18th. Yeah, but that's Curtis's report. We'll move on to Jill. Do we have a?
Do we do it at the?
No, no, except for the end. Okay, so Jill.
Okay, so like I said, I'm not attached to anything, but what I did this few weeks ago was I did put out a petition to go to Joseph Glenn to deliver to Christopher Laxton asking for more time. Now I have no more time when it comes to amalgamation. It's exceedingly rushed, and I don't appreciate being bullied in any way, shape, or form. And at the end of the day, with the amalgamation, 3 years' time, everybody in council is going to be settled into their jobs, and we're going to be paying for it. And I don't appreciate our public service telling us that we do this or else, and the ratepayers and taxpayers get landed with it. So I did put the petition out. I have told people that it will make absolutely no difference at all, and it will be ignored on all sides. But it is the first step of getting the community involved in what's going on and how easily they are ignored, and just, kind of drift really. by central government. So, yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I had another conversation, very elderly woman in the district who has been waiting weeks to get her fire put in because the heat pump in the house that she bought is ineffective for anywhere south of Auckland, and this woman's cold, and we need to get her a fireplace put in real fast. And the coldest months tend to be July and August, and it would be really good to see her. Yeah, that's about it. for me.
You do. Vicky.
So, the couple of restaurant meetings as well, had a combined meeting with the medical services trucks as well, about future stuff and heating and that kind of stuff. We'll go here. About to go with my refit hat on for the hall redevelopment with them. So I'll that there's community board, see how that's going on. So quite excited to see architects and see what their ideas are and see how we go with that. Then I attended the corporate meeting with Hawksbush as well, and I put myself the community layouts on that. So yeah, so I'm part of that group as well. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Yeah. And also just I do know that in the last minutes community members did talk about wheelchair disabled parking outside Super Value, and I just want to know, has there been anything happen with that? Because we don't have any in Rossville, we do not have any disabled parking at all. So
That was an item that came up in public.
there's one out here, but there's none. I thought it was on the next street around.
Yes,
No, there's none. No.
No, it was requested.
Yeah.
Camilla requested that.
About getting some further clarification about it.
I'll
And-
check that.
and,
Yeah.
I mean, it was suggested that if you do need a wheelchair access parking bay, then it means that you're probably going to lose a bay because they're wider.
Well, we spoke to Teviot about it. She said it's unnecessary. She takes her wheelchair off her roof, but she is only one. There will be others.
So there was an email about it before.
Yeah, I think there was. Kind of super values.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think yes.
I think
To the side. Yeah.
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 There's a little bit of space.
Yeah. And then I would also, living down by Reservoir Creek, it's a mess. Again, I don't know, somebody has cut inside the channel, it looks like somebody's cut down the budliers and stuff. Yeah. But it's just been dumped in the channel. And then whoever, I don't know, at the bottom of it as well, the budliers and stuff have been cut down, other stuff's been cut down. It's just been dumped in the creek. Already there's pooling, there's whatever else, and it's just like,
Given that that's CODC,
I don't understand it. I don't know if it's somebody who lives there, if it's somebody who's in public, I don't know. But yeah, it's a little bit concerning because
yeah, Parks and Reserves that channel, or is it building? No, good.
I think it's right.
That's right.
I'll follow up. So that would be good to
I
follow
mean,
up.
we just been talked about. If we get bulldozers down there to some point over the next.
Yeah,
Some of it.
somebody spray, somebody.
Because that is something where we can show some leadership.
Yeah.
And say to RIC, look, we've done a little bit, can you please, follow? So it'd be-
I felt it already been done, though. I'm sure that we've done some stuff there. But I will follow up. Yeah.
I think there's some work being done on Slaughterhouse Creek, isn't there? So I heard that basically all of those runs down from here need to be cleared out. The one before Quail Haven, there was one there. You wouldn't know this one. That's so overrun.
That's what I was saying. Just on the point about the mine having something that I think that statutorily, when they got their consent, they were told they had to have a liaison committee. So they called, the body might have, they called for members of the liaison committee, and you won't go on it. I think that's a great idea. But wondering whether as a community board, we should say that we want to put one person on it on a continuing basis. Do you want to go on as the community board rep?
I had to be,
Yeah.
yeah.
So do we want one or two community board people?
Well, if somebody else wants to jump on as well, I think.
If we want, and that will be something that continues on at the end of each triennium or the beginning of a new one, we allocate people. So what's the process by which we
would bring paper just to confirm that,
okay. All right.
that rep.
We say up to two reps that the community board would like to put up to two people on, up to two.
Yeah, because I said it's 10, they have got 10.
Okay. All right. Right. Great. Okay, so I propose those members' reports get accepted. And no, yeah, so all those in favour? Thank you very much.
Can I give one additional detail on that?
Thank you.
You've got the 18th, the rates review stuff, the 18th is in Roxburgh
Yes,
and at 6 p.m.
yes,
And then on the 19th,
yes.
we'll have Miller's Flat at 12:30.
That's right. Yeah.
And then another one in Roxburgh at school, I think it is, at 3:30.
Right. Jill said that, she's sharp.
No, it's just I posted it up on.
Oh, okay.
Valley Facebook.
All right, thank you. Right, so we move on to governance report. Is there any issues on our governance report that people would like to mention? Wonder.
Page 93.
Governance report, we've got some road stoppings that are taking place. And infant disposal is there, and there's an update there. So they're working on a no parking zone. That's it. I've got 3 things on the governance report. Wow, how about that? Okay, that's governance report. Any comments on that?
The grants one was presented to council yesterday, so that will come off now, and the proposal, government proposal will update with mitigation, but they.
Teviot Valley Community Board current projects. So the 3 projects that we're working on, we've mentioned them slightly already. Becky, any update on your attempts at a gymnasium?
I'm kind of what my thinking is I'm kind of waiting to see what comes of the town hall upgrade, if that is something that potentially can go on that as well.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of seeing what that looks like first, and then if that's dead up, then.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is that like extending the school one? Yeah, because they had the opportunity and they didn't take it. Yeah, so, but I think that if that's something that can maybe go in the hall, I don't know if that's an option, but I think don't want to spread things too thin, so see that first. If that's not going to go, then you'll think go and have a chat to the school.
Okay.
So you're talking that gymnasium just has a big space with marked out courts.
A full-size basketball, netball, volleyball, that kind of stuff. And particularly maybe the gymnasium, you know, the buffers or whatever, something like that, that kind of space as well. But that
Don't want it to be with a privately owned.
no, I'm just saying.
Well, thank you. In terms of the community housing, that's Hayden's thing. He is, there was something at the council yesterday to do with that. Have we got a little update on that?
That's been put on ice.
Okay.
Just so council has made decisions to continue to retain ownership control over the early beach and person's housing. 98
Look after themselves. Continue.
look after themselves, and we'll see, you know, how the whole thing regional deals, amalgamation, how that all plays out.
Yeah.
That might be. Thanks.
Did people at the pensions flats down here know that you lost?
We wrote to them all.
Oh,
We
great,
think that
because
they-
one of them was exceedingly upset.
The agents have reached out, so we wrote to them about 2 weeks ago, and we'll be writing to them again as a result of the decision making.
So, no change. No, just business as usual.
Business as usual.
Great, thank you, Peter. And the third The Roxbury Entertainment Centre is the third one, which we've already mentioned. And the fourth one is the medical, integrated medical services provision. So I really haven't got anything further to report on that. That is the end of that item. And we just come to the next one, which is the date of the next meeting, which is down for Thursday, 10th of September. Are you happy with that?
You just move the last couple of items, just
Okay.
both the governance.
Okay, I move that the government's report be received. Can I have a second, please? Becky? All those in favour?
Aye.
And the community board projects update that I just gave, we have a second, please. Bill
I'll see now.
and all in favour? Aye.
That'd be really boring to read, isn't it?
And the date of the next meeting, so that's the Thursday, the 10th of September. What will have happened by then?
God knows.
Oh, well, someone will be making an announcement at some stage in September.
Who will?
Government.
Oh, yes,
Our council's heads.
on the bus,
The ones that they're pulling out of the hat for advance.